I'm sorry, would be this is something I really haven't looked at. This is more of a police department, animal control issue and planning and code enforcement. But generally speaking, our laws limit the number of dogs in a residence to 3, inside or outside. You can't keep 20 dogs inside your house and say they don't count. So the city code says up to 3 dogs anywhere in the city. Now, places like a veterinarian would be exempt, but also the city of Northport has a leash law, so dogs cannot run at large. They have to either be on a leash if you're out walking them or fenced in on your property.
But if she's running a rescue unit to disperse those animals, is that not a business? That she would require a business license?
I mean, and someone mentioned a 501c3 if she's doing that, but I would not think this is an activity that would be allowed in a residential subdivision. But again, I'm not familiar at all with what's going on in the past with animal control or with the code enforcement. But I will definitely follow up and report back to the mayor and to the council.
I had a couple about 7 or 8 months ago, and I think I talked to Chief about it, about the same situation over there, that they lived across the street and they were older and they were concerned. I never heard anything else out of them. So I assumed that it had been taken care of, but that situation's got to be corrected for those folks to live in fear in their own homes. That's ridiculous.
We'll follow up. Mr. Stevens is out of town today, but he'll be back on Friday. I'll follow up with him, and also we'll follow up with Animal Control.
All right, folks, look, can we do this? I know we probably can't make a decision today. It's almost like we need to look at what our code says. We know it's in a residential area, and that may be an opportunity for us to look and see the number of calls we've got, the number of call-outs through animal control. We've got records of that, but the biggest thing is, how do we fix this situation where you're in a residential area and you are running that type of service? It seems like it doesn't fit to me. Again, my opinion only, but it seems like it doesn't fit. It's different if you're just a dog owner, but if you're running a rescue type outfit, I have to go back. We got Metro Animal Shelter. I kind of agree with the mayor. You may have to, why not have a business license and do it? But again, I just think we need to get with staff and get with our legal department and our PD just to look at this information. And I don't have a point of contact as the main person, but I got everybody's. I do have Ms. Beasley. I stand corrected. I have your contact information. So I will, if you don't mind being the main point of contact. Okay. And again, he has. He's already emailed mayor and council, and so we're kind of aware of that current situation. Yes, ma'am. So we'll have to get with our planning department to look at the code and how it applies and legally, and then look and see from a municipal standpoint if it's allowed in residential, which again, the use of it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, my opinion only.
One thing, Burton, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there anything that you can add to this or anything that might help us when we go forward?
Right now, there's also part of that ordinance mentions 50 feet from the residence.
Right. Kind of limited based on the ordinances.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mr. Shirley, that and also Eddie, that's what I was saying earlier. I think our staff has done exactly what they're supposed to do as far as call outs, going out, checking it, but they are limited what our ordinance reads. So that kind of puts the task back on us to see if we can look at doing it. Yeah.
There's no second chance with the animals she has there.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not going to accuse nobody of nothing, but we hired a private investigator, and I'll just tell you this, I know it's a fact, this rescue's the front of what's really going on. I'll just leave it at that.
Yes, sir. I think we'll probably need to just, as a council and mayor and staff, just, that's our task now, to try to figure out how the ordinance reads and try to figure to where if we have to have staff called out again, they've got the tools to make it work. Right now, they're limited. So, I really,
She does take an adoption fee when people come, they never come to get them, but she does take money. She charges people an adoption fee is what she calls it.
and again, I've spoken to Ms. Jordan on the phone at length, and she understands it. I know she knows the code just like everybody here in this audience, you know, who's affected by it. So, again, I can only go by what was told to me until I'm proved otherwise. That she's basically assured the council and mayor that she's getting ready to get out of this. She don't want to fight with her neighbors. So I think until we.
And regardless of whether she gets out or not, we're still going to
Yeah,
investigate this and look at our
we'll still have to
ordinances.
look at it.
One thing I'm going to do when we have our next planning meeting is bring this up, let them know this is an issue. Let's start looking at what our ordinance says as far as the residential side of things. Because to me, we want to get this issue corrected, but we also want to prevent this in the future from popping up again. So if we can try to knock that out now, we're certainly going to take that role. Yes, sir.
Ms. Don, the couple you were talking about that you spoke with, he's right here. He didn't address the council, but he's right here.
I thought I recognized him, but I wasn't gonna say anything.
Can I just say one thing? I was bringing up the pit bulls. I own two of them. I have Emmett Kaiser's dog, Spud. I have nothing against pit bulls. I threw that name out there quite a bit. I have, you know, this isn't a pit bull issue.
Thank you for clarifying. I don't want the media to say, "Hey, it's a."
No, I own Spud, Emmett Kaiser's dog, and he's an American bully, and I wouldn't give him up for the world.
Yes, ma'am. We understand. Yes, ma'am. And I know the media understands that too. I think we just. Okay.
Nothing against me, it's just the two that attacked my dog while I was on my property.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way we can follow up if she was ordered to have that pit bull put down, and she did not have it put down? I mean.
I don't know that one just right off. That would be if there's a report out there, or if there's something from a vet or somebody in the medical profession dealing with animals like that. I wouldn't. We'll have to check on that one.
She didn't have it put down. She put the word out that she was trying to deflect again. That's what she's a pretty good deflector. So, but then I have it written down where she put in pretty good word. She wasn't gonna have that done.
And she announces every other month on social media, due to my health, I'm getting out of rescue, we're shutting it down, and then the next day she's like, who's got puppies? Show me what you got.
Well, let's do this, folks. Before we go down the road way off and accuse somebody of not being a man or woman of their word, city council gonna be tasked with getting with staff, looking at our ordinance and the use of it, and we'll work with our PD and legal department to say, how does it read? How does it apply to residential areas? There's a health and safety possible concern, a dangerous area to citizens in that particular street or neighborhood, and then we'll go from there. Then at the same time, we'll still work with Ms. Beasley as a point of contact, and by right, Ms. Jordan as a point of contact. Because I think it's only fair that we have to make sure we reach out to her and say, you know, here's a concern. We're trying to work on it. I really appreciate everybody coming tonight, and all day anyway. Thank y'all. Mr. Jobson, you're next up on the list. Let the record show Mr. Jobson does not want to go and address the city council. You sure? Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir. Item 14 is mayor and council members' business. District 2, again, just to recap, the MLK project's going good. BKI is working really hard. You should see some designs hopefully in the next few months. It's slow going, but it's actually faster than it's ever been. Many thanks to the mayor and council. Very progressive mayor and council that actually puts this project across the goal line. The other thing, Happy Easter. The other one too, we were looking at possibly, again, I said this last time, streamlining our ordinances. I've got 3 of them wrote down, in addition to the one we just addressed here, maybe. I'm looking at maybe throwing some stuff out to planning and zoning and staff and even mayor and council, maybe looking at our sign ordinance, maybe looking at our landscape ordinance, maybe looking at our subdivision regs. And again, not to say you're changing for the sake of changing. If there's a way where we can streamline the process, and we've shown it in our, we just reduced from 22 to 4, so I think we can do it. So you'll see me and maybe Councilman Hall maybe offer up some ideas to mayor and council to look at streamlining some of our zoning, especially signage and landscape and things of that nature. So maybe we'll work with staff pretty soon and maybe have something to the council. That's all I have under my business. District 3, Councilman Sullivan.
No business, just appreciate the residents coming out and everybody speaking and getting us informed on your issues. Certainly hate to hear some of that, but I appreciate y'all making it known to us so we can get to work on some of this.
District 5, Councilman Hogg.
I'd like to piggyback on that. Thank y'all for coming, and to address that today, we'll definitely look into that and see what we can do in terms of our ordinances and try to make this a better policy for all of Northport. Also, I do want to mention that I believe Smith Acres there is represented as District 1. The mayor had pointed out last meeting, due to the resignation of Councilman Boozer, that while there is no technical representation at this time, that anyone up here, the mayor and all the councilmen for all districts are willing to provide their services and help. So please reach out to us. I know Councilman Davis is not here today. I think he wants to give a report from the personnel committee and discuss on how we are going to maybe look at appointing a new District 1 councilman at some point within the time frame that we are allotted. So we are keeping that on our radar, and we'll go through that process when that time comes. So just be mindful of that. So that's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Aaron.
I do have just really one item, but a comment also. And Councilman Hogg's right. We are all trying to look at after District 1 just as well as we can. And I guess technically I'm supposed to look after all 5. So, and I have several people who have contacted me about some other issues in District 1, and I appreciate that, and I'm glad they feel like that they can. The other item is, I know we've had 2 requests for proposals that we sent out for the Hassan Center. And I know it is time that we begin to move on that. We have been pushing that can down the road for a year and a half. And we need to decide, or y'all need to decide what we're going to do. It is getting to be grass cutting time, and Ms. Starnes will tell you it takes at least a day of her whole crew to take care of those grounds. So we need to decide the direction we want to go, and perhaps maybe appointing a committee to look at the 2 proposals and getting back to those folks and see what they are seriously interested in doing with that, and what we can work out with them to see if what they're willing to come to the table with and help us with as far as moving that center into a better place.
Can I piggyback on that just
Sure.
1 second? There's also the other RFP that we put out regarding the city-owned
right.
property, the triangle
Right,
piece.
right.
That one is Hassan Center has nothing to do with that, but I do want to say that the triangle piece that is close to the trestle, it was presented to us, and everyone saw when that came out that one of the developers had mentioned building a city hall there. Whether that goes to fruition or not is something that the council has to look at in terms of city-owned property and maximizing our resources and our money. We're still in the process with the Beaker Group regarding the RFP for this property, and their 6-month due diligence period, I believe, ends sometime mid to late April. I'll have to check the date, but there will be no action taken from the council mayor on that triangle piece, I would say, personally, no action be taken on that until we get more information on this RFP. It would sort of be a domino effect at that point if that property is in play for the other types of development that have been set down there. So, all the RFPs look great. If it wasn't for this property already being on RFP, then we probably would have already made a decision at that point to do something. So, sorry to.
That's fine. I think we need to start moving in that direction, but we do need to move on the Hassan Center. I do know that the little Tiger football, baseball group is back up and running, and they will need some restroom facilities down there. And in the past, they have depended on the Hassan Center, and of course, it is closed and locked down because it doesn't meet code. So if we need to address that and help them out and help Public Works out to keep from having to spend a amount of time down there cutting grass. It does take her crew a day to do that, and they could be somewhere else making the city look good too.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I think you had mentioned, I think I know Councilman Davis is, I think he's out of town on some training, I think. And so when he gets back in, I think we need to kind of convene as a group and try to get and hit this head on, especially with what Councilman Hogg is wanting as far as the RFP, because that's going to be on us. And then once that happens, we really need to address the RFP for Hassan ASAP. So as soon as Councilman Davis gets back in town, I think we all need to convene as a group and knock these two out quickly. I know I spoke to him. I know he didn't give, I don't know if he gave mayor and council a day when he'll be back in town.
I think the 13th of April,
Okay.
somewhere around that time.
And also, I think Councilman Hogg, you said too, he had a proposal to maybe look at the process of maybe selecting council District 1. I think that's what he, okay. Okay.
From the personnel committee, so.
All right.
Go through Bruce's office as well.
Okay. Mayor, you have anything else out of your office?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Item 15 is adjournment, folks. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. All in favor, please say yes. All opposed, same sign. We're adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hey, yes.